Carl Hackert. We were so fortunate today to have the organ right behind us, so we decided to have Carl enter our show a little bit. Thank you, Carl.
You're welcome.
I'm Ann Perillo, and you're watching Capital Region Today. Thank you so much for watching. You just never know what's going to happen on this show. I'm telling you, I don't even know. But we have a really great lineup today. We're going to be talking about fraud with a person from a bank who would know better what's going on in the fraud arena. And then we're talking to Octavo singers, as well as we're going to learn about the Schenectady Saratoga Symphony Orchestra. They're going to be performing with them. And then the Proctors Collaborative is going to be on to talk about the Eddies. And yes, those are great people that are doing wonderful things with music. And then we have Shakespeare's birthday coming up. Oh yeah, you didn't know he had a birthday. Well, he does. And we're going to find out about that. That's going to be in Albany, and it's a big birthday bash. And then we're going to hear from an author who wrote They Even Took My Shoes, which is going to be kind of interesting, especially since I'm wearing a little thing with a little red shoe on, but that has to do with Casa Valentino. So, but I wore it because of her shoes. So anyway, we're going to start right out with Paul Cavanaugh, and he is a banker. You're at the bank, at Arrow Bank.
Yes, I'm the fraud manager.
Where's that located?
We're based out of Glens Falls.
Out of Glens Falls,
but
okay,
we
great.
have branches all over the area.
Yeah, I understand. Fraud.
Yes.
What can you do? Are you the person that calls me up and says, somebody's just took $5,000 out of your account, did you authorize it?
So it depends.
Oh, okay.
It really depends on the situation. There's a variety of different fraud that we see and we deal with, from debit card fraud
and
to
we
check
have some
fraud.
slides that we're going to bring up too.
Yeah, so we have a slide with some of the common scams that we see.
Okay, could you bring the first slide up, please?
So those are some of the common scams that we see.
Okay, and we'll leave that up while you talk about it.
Yeah, because there's a lot of different things that go on with it. The computer pop-ups, the imposter scams, the romance scams, the phishing and smishing. Those are some of the big ones that we see, and those are usually involved with other parts of a scam. So it might be a text or an email or a phone call that initiates it, or online too for the romance scam. So there's a lot of different ways that
people still fall for those romance scams?
Absolutely, all the time.
I mean, even though they're so blatant.
You would think so, but they establish relationships with people online.
Yeah, they do it insidiously.
Not really. It's usually a group of people that are working together to coordinate this.
You may not even get the same person answering.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But those are also some of the most difficult scams to convince people that they're a victim of, because they have this relationship with them.
They want that relationship with something, with someone.
Yep. A lot of them are elderly or isolated, or looking for love, obviously. So they believe whatever these people that they're talking to say.
And the purpose is to get their money.
Sometimes, yes. A lot of times it's money. If they don't have money, though, they will use them to launder money through.
Really? They launder? How do they launder money?
So they create fake checks. They'll have them deposit these fake checks.
Oh.
Then they'll take the cash out or transfer the money elsewhere before the checks get returned.
Okay, and then they found out it was a bounce check.
Right. So now the victim is left with a negative balance in their account that they're going to owe the bank money, and the scammer got free, clean cash.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk. Okay, you mentioned I guess the screen. Let's bring the screen up. Okay, let's talk about these in kind of in general. What other scams would you run into that would affect a bank, for instance?
So a lot of them have to do with people allowing access to their internet banking, because that allows the scammer to access their transaction history, their account information, some personal information on them that they have online, and then they can use that account to do other things with. Like I said, bad checks are a big one right now.
Bad checks? Okay.
Counterfeit checks. So with the check fraud right now, after the pandemic, check fraud exploded.
Because you have
it's
to stay
extremely tough,
ahead of the curve.
Yep, absolutely. We can't keep up with it. We had to create a whole new department just to handle check fraud because of the explosion after the pandemic.
Now, I was told by someone, and maybe you can bear this out, they said that they had put a check in the mail for their taxes. Then they got a letter that they hadn't paid their taxes. So now they're saying, but I wrote a check. Then when they checked, or checked, no, yeah, okay. When they
looked
looked
at their
into
account,
it,
yep.
yeah, they found out that somebody had apparently erased it, or tell me what's going on.
So there's actually a big group in the area that was going around stealing checks from mailboxes. The mail is the #1 place where checks are stolen throughout the postal service, anywhere. If you mail a check, expect it to be stolen. I always tell
What if you
people
mail
that.
it directly at the post office?
Doesn't matter. They have people inside the post office who steal checks. That's
Okay.
that's all they do is the post office, the mailboxes, anywhere that they can get mail
So
that
you're
would have a
saying
check
these
in
are
it.
employees that are in,
Could be.
They could be.
Could be.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you mail a check, expect it to be stolen. That's my
Okay.
rule of thought with those.
So how do they steal? I mean, what do they do? How do they get the amount off, and how do they?
So
tell me more.
So
about
there's chemical washing procedures that they
Okay.
can use. Different agents that'll help them remove the ink without damaging the checks.
So what if I use a Sharpie?
Doesn't matter. They can still wash it. A lot of times what they do is they'll recreate a different check with it. So they'll scan an image of it and then they can use
Eraser, yeah, they can erase it, yeah.
different programs.
With
to
AI, they can do
create-
almost anything,
to
yeah.
create a new check. So a lot of times they actually don't do anything with that original check other than take the information off of it and create new checks.
Oh, I see what
Yep.
you're saying. Yeah. So how does the bank find that out?
Usually when a customer says, "I didn't write that check."
Oh, okay.
So we don't have monitoring for a lot of those
Okay.
things. I'm not going to get into our
No,
processes.
that's okay. No, but because it's almost insurmountable
it is.
what you have to deal with.
It
because
is.
they're always ahead of the curve.
Yep.
Because you aren't aware of what they're doing until they do it.
Right. Which is the same thing why fraud is so difficult to detect, because we don't know what our customers are doing either. So if a customer does a legitimate transaction, we don't know if it's legitimate or not unless they're telling us it's not sometimes.
Unless they ask you, why are you taking, I mean, would they ask, suppose I go to the bank and I say, I want $5,000 out in cash.
Mm-hmm.
Would you ask? Well, why?
We should be asking, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, why are you taking that out? And I say, well, because I'm going to Las Vegas.
So large cash withdrawals are another red flag, right? Because scammers like cash because you can't
Or a
track
gift card.
cash. Gift cards are the same thing because you can liquidate those for cash pretty easily and it's clean money. So
Yeah.
that's how they go through the money laundering process, using the people that are victims to launder the money for them.
Yeah, it's amazing. I don't know if you're aware of a guy named Pierogi. Well, that's his screen name. He's on YouTube. And he actually tries to warn people, and he gets these scammers to call him. I mean, now he doesn't get them to do it, but they call him, and he'll yank them along, and then he allows them to get into a fake computer that he has
Yep.
to show the public how they get
What they
into
do.
your bank account, take your money, and they take it out of one account and then tell you that they're giving you $5,000, but they really took it out of your
Right.
other account.
Yep.
And then, I mean, these guys, they must stay up all night long.
They've
Figuring this out.
got call centers of
Yeah, I know.
people who do
he
these
goes,
things
he goes into their call
overseas
centers.
and
He reverses it so he can go into their call center and actually says to the guy, well, how come you're eating lunch now? And the guy can't understand, how do you know I'm doing this? But he's able to
Yep.
reverse it, yeah.
But the thing with the computers is computers don't get hacked, the people do.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, someone is allowing access
Yeah.
to their computer by downloading an app to their phone or
You
the
gotta be
computer.
careful what you're-
So that you just gave the scammer
You
access
gave him
to
access.
everything. Yeah. So that's
Yeah,
usually
I'm
what we
really,
see.
I don't click on anything that, unless it's something, even if it's something that a friend sends me, I don't always click on it because I don't know, maybe they got scammed and I don't want to be the one to do that.
Right. Always call a known number to verify these things too.
Yeah.
If you receive an email, a lot of times you'll get emails or texts that sound like it could be something legitimate, but you're not sure. Call a known number to verify if that is good or not. If you're getting a text or an email from Amazon or someone saying that,
yeah.
hey, there's this pending transaction.
And we need
Yeah,
we need your zip code, and
They
we
don't,
also need
they don't
your,
do those things,
Yeah.
right? Like
No.
PayPal's not going to warn you about a transaction
No,
coming
no,
out.
no.
They don't care, right? Unless you tell them that it's not legitimate. So you need to monitor your activity yourself.
Exactly.
Don't rely on these services because a lot of times they're scams.
Well, and many times they'll say, click on here to verify or whatever it is, And if you put your browser over it and just kind of hover it over it, and then on the lower left-hand side, it'll show, and it's usually a bit or something. It's never what you think it is.
Right.
Not only that, but I got one just yesterday or something, and it says, and it had to do with something official. And I looked up at the address, and it was like in NZ for New Zealand or some, another country. And I said, really, you think that I believe this?
Well, a lot of people don't look at those things, right?
Yeah.
They're just clicking around or clicking on the emails. They see, oh, this is from Spectrum, but if you open up the email and looked at the email address, it's from some Gmail account.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
And I always look up there,
Yeah.
and I also hover over the thing just to kind of see, well, what is that area? What is that website that they're setting? And it's usually a bit or something.
Right.
In other words, they've hidden it, so
Right.
you don't know what it is.
Or they make small changes to
The small
to the
changes,
URL.
yeah. And that's the other thing they said that you got to be careful about, that they will make it look almost identical. But usually there's a misspelling or something in there that you can kind of pick at. What is the most common that you're running into lately?
So actually, a lot of those pop-up scams are the ones that we see those every single day. Where someone is on a website somewhere, they get a pop-up, they call the number on the pop-up, they allow the
don't do that.
person to access their computer,
Don't do that.
and then they're getting phone calls from someone claiming to be the bank or the FBI saying they're under investigation, and that's how we get to the point where they're then trying to take money out or pay them with gift cards in order to get out of this investigation.
Or you're helping us do an investigation or
Right.
something, or anything like that.
Well, child porn is the big one now. So they'll say, oh, we found child porn on your computer, and
Yeah.
that scares the living daylights out of people. And they'll go and withdraw money from their account and give it to a courier, or they'll go buy gift cards and give those to the scammer. So there's a lot of different
they're thinking,
things.
yeah, I mean, and they haven't found anything, actually. It's just
Right.
that they're
Right.
doing those things. Yeah.
But people think like, oh, they've been hacked because they allowed someone onto their computer now, so
Yeah.
they know someone's been in their computer. So they're very good at what they do.
They're good, and they try to be convincing.
Right.
Just don't click on things that you don't know.
Yeah.
I'll tell you just quickly. I had a family member, and she said we got a porn thing come up on her computer, and I unsubscribed. I said, "Oh no, don't do that." And she said, "Well, after I unsubscribed, I got a lot more." And she says, and I keep unsubscribing to all of them. I go, no,
Yep.
don't touch anything.
Yeah, if you let them know that
You're live.
communication channel is a source,
Live, yeah.
they're going to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
If you talk to them on the phone, you get put on a list, and you're going to get all the scam calls in the world.
Yeah, so you got to be careful.
Yeah,
But listen,
absolutely.
I want to thank you so much. We need to get you on again sometime to talk about
Yeah, absolutely.
this fraud, because I know we didn't cover everything, but we covered
Right.
enough to
Yeah.
kind of give people ideas. Don't click on anything. Don't answer the phone if you don't know their number. And, just be cautious,
Yes.
because you give them information. You're the one that's the source.
Right.
Don't do it.
Can I just say one more
Yes,
quick
go right
thing?
ahead.
So do not ever give gift cards or cash to anyone, any federal
Unless
agents,
it's me. No.
the bank. No one's ever going to ask you to withdraw cash from your account
No.
to pay someone. That will never happen. And gift cards, the police will never ask you to pay for a gift card.
No.
It just
And
doesn't
I
happen.
even laugh when it's a government agency
Yeah.
and they say, and you have to send us gift cards. I said, what government agency is going to ask for gift cards?
But again, the people are under duress
Yeah.
when they're having these conversations.
They're not thinking.
So they don't realize it till after the fact, like this just happened.
Yeah. Thank you so much,
You're
Paul.
welcome.
You're a wealth of information,
Thank you.
very important. And that's Arrow Bank, so you can check them out too
Yes,
as well.
absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're going to be talking with our next guest. Interesting, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
You didn't fall for any of that, did you?
Not recently, no.
Oh, Mike McCord there. Mike McCord, I just saw him last night or a couple nights ago on stage. You're promoting the Proctor's.
The new season of Proctor's.
Yeah, I
and,
know,
and
everything's
Capital Rep.
going on. But right now we're going to be talking about two things. One is I want to say it right, Schenectady Saratoga Symphony Orchestra.
Nailed it.
Yeah, because I have to be careful because they changed their name, so I got to make sure I got that. And the Octavo Singers, which are going to be performing with them. This is going to be fabulous.
It's going to be an awesome concert. That's the afternoon of April 13th
Yeah,
at
tell me
3,
more
right here
about
at
it.
Proctor's.
Tell me more.
We're coming together doing Verdi's Requiem. full symphony orchestra and quite a large chorus. Normally octavos is around 90 or 100 voices. We're at a very impressive operatic 120 for this.
Really? Where'd you get them all?
Well, we you know,
Where'd you get them?
we advertise, you know, community
Okay,
singers.
yeah.
We're a community organization, and a big piece like this has a lot of draw for choristers. People really love singing this
Yeah,
work.
Verdi, yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know, it's often called a concert opera, and so it needs a lot of loud singing to compete, of course, with a very boisterous operatic orchestra. And so we're
Amazing,
very
yeah.
excited for that.
And the orchestra, they've been performing at Proctor's a number of times, yeah.
Oh, absolutely, yes. What was the Schenectady Symphony Orchestra, this is the 91st season of that organization. And a few years ago, we changed the name to reflect sort of where the orchestra actually plays, which is
yeah.
Saratoga as well. So now we've become the Schenectady Saratoga Symphony Orchestra, which very much like Octavos is actually it's a community orchestra, right? This is an auditioned group, but you know, this is intended to be a place where people who are not professional musicians, you know, that there are a lot of, you know, doctors and accountants and all sorts of other things who come and play for the SSSO. So
Yeah,
we're very
yeah.
excited to, especially to partner with Octavos. The Verdi Requiem
Is this the first time you've partnered?
In a number of years.
Yeah, because I don't recall. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, several. I want to say maybe the last thing was Beethoven 9. Maybe Diane or Jan can fact check me, but
Oh, she's back there. She's shaking her head
This
now.
would have been a number of
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
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 And the Verdi is one of the more popular requiems. There
definitely
are
is.
many requiems. Most people know Mozart's Requiem. I looked this up this morning. There's a musicologist. His name is David Rosen, and David Rosen says that the Verdi Requiem is the most popular requiem other than the Mozart Requiem. So,
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really funny you bring up Rosen because my master's thesis was actually on this piece, and so I studied a lot of his work, and the Verdi actually comes from an original piece that Verdi and some other opera composers of the 19th century had wanted to write in honor of Rossini, who had just passed away.
yeah.
Kind of a previous generation, very popular even among the next several generations continentally, and that piece kind of fell apart. But Verdi's material, his impetus in the music that he wrote for that piece, then became this Requiem that he wrote about 5 or 6 years later.
Okay.
Very operatic, as I said, and so you have all of these influences from his operas, Nabucco and Macbeth, and all of these things, kind of boiled down into this, you know, hour and a half piece of just incredible drama for the chorus, for the orchestra, for soloists.
I was going to say you have soloists as
Yes.
well. Yeah.
Yep.
And who are some of the soloists that you have?
These are international talent, handpicked by Maestro Cortese. Off the top of my head, I know Andrew Boisvert.
I have names.
Excellent.
Okay.
I came prepared.
Yes.
Because I was going to
He's
forget
always
names if
prepared.
I just
Jennifer
Forney, Kate Reese-Lerner, Lucas Levy, and Andrew Boisvert.
Okay,
right.
and they're not local.
Nope.
These are regional and international
Okay, wow.
opera soloists. It's going to be a really dramatic performance.
Are you excited about it?
So excited for this? Yes, the chorus has been preparing since the end of January, and you know, practically every rehearsal, I have to say, you know, as a chorus, you have to embody an opera character, you know, and you have to really perform as you know, emotionally as if you were on the Met stage, you know, as a big opera chorus, you know.
This
you
is
sit
amazing.
and stand
this
and
must be so exciting.
yeah, I mean, you hold your music, and I don't ask for too much to be memorized, but in the same way as if, you know, you were on a professional stage, you know. I'm a little demanding in that way, but
But
it's
that's
a lot of fun.
good, because the more you demand, the better that people get.
Absolutely,
I think, you know,
absolutely.
it's like they raise to a new level, because if you expect less, then you get less.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, both of our organizations really adhere to that. And I know Glenn is the same way, Maestro Cortese.
Yeah, Glenn has been on the show before.
And
yeah.
you know, we fully believe that
He's amazing.
Community organizations are fully capable of really powerful emotional music.
Yeah. Is this usually a sellout crowd or?
This one will be very, very popular. As I said, if you are at all familiar with
Verdi.
I was going to say with classical, quote unquote, classical
okay.
music in general, even though this is later than classical. But if you're at all familiar with classical music, you would recognize many parts of this. I mean, if you think you've never heard Verdi's Requiem, chances are you actually have. You just didn't know that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, we had Opera Saratoga on just our last show that we did, and that's one of the things that came out, that you've heard music, you've heard opera, but you don't know you've heard it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And you're absolutely right. Like the Dies Irae motive that comes out of this piece is repeated several times in this work, but also used in a lot of movies, a lot of advertisements.
Yeah, they said
it's a recognizable
that's exactly
theme.
what they were saying.
Yeah.
And I said, I remember as a kid, if you watched the cartoons, they
Yeah.
used a lot of
sure.
opera in
Looney
cartoons.
Tunes, all kinds of stuff.
They
Yeah,
don't do that anymore,
absolutely.
but we
That's
got
right.
opera right in the beginning.
The first time I ever heard Barber of Seville, it was Bugs Bunny.
yeah.
You know,
yeah.
so.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
true. You're right.
It's true.
Yeah.
What I appreciate about especially, Andrew talked about the community organization, and what I appreciate about this particular piece and pieces like this is that a requiem is a funeral mass, right? And the structure of this piece is actually, if you grew up Catholic, you know this structure. I mean, now the words are in Latin, so you might not be as familiar with the Latin anymore, but the beats of the Mass,
it's the same.
It's exactly the same. It's all of the same prayers that we do the Agnus Dei, which is the Lamb of God, which is so there are. It's very, very familiar, and if a funeral is meant to be a celebration of life, there are the realities of life sort of reflect in this piece. There are pieces that are there are sections of this piece that are celebratory. There are sections of this piece that are
we
that are
celebrate
somber.
life
Well,
in
sure.
death as well.
Of course, right. And the Dies Irae is meant to be, Dies Irae is day of wrath. It's the day of ire is where that word comes from. And so it's meant to be frightening and bombastic and intense and scary, and it really takes you through sort of the journey of life in terms of celebrations and mourning and and finally sort of acceptance at the end. I mean, it's an incredibly well structured and really beautiful piece of
that
music.
Verdi was able to put that all together in such a perfect way.
Oh yeah.
Right, and he did it in a way, because Verdi, I would argue, you can disagree with this maybe, but I would argue that most people would know Verdi as an opera composer.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And this is, as Andrew said, an operatic requiem. This was considered
Operatic.
Oh yes. It was considered too operatic for liturgical use, really.
So two kind of points there. It's like musicologists and even just lay musicians will joke that this is Verdi's most famous opera.
Right.
But it really
It's
is
the most performed.
operatic.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And then also that after this piece was premiered, a lot of composers composed requiems in reaction to how angry or aggressive moments like the Dies Irae were, and they thought that was far too much angst to put in a piece of music like a
that's
requiem. And then so
interesting.
after that you got a piece like the Brahms Requiem, you got Fauré Requiem, which were much more introspective, humanist, plaintive, a much different scope of emotion than this, which is, I would say, not afraid to really get at the
meat?
anger of a lot of human thoughts about life and death.
Yeah, this is
there's a piece there's a prayer at the end of the actual Requiem Mass. And now, of course, excuse me for hitting my microphone. I'm now completely blanking on it. The final movement is
The Libera Me.
that's the final movement of this. What's the final movement of it's the
In
Duraflame?
Paradisum.
In Paradisum, thank
Yeah.
you. It
Yep.
just wasn't coming to me. Which is, the text is, may the choir of angels, sing you to your heavenly reward, and that's a prayer in the actual Mass, and it actually doesn't appear in nearly that many requiems. There are two famous requiems, the Fauré and the Duraflame Requiem, where that final sending someone on their way, and again, it's very peaceful and it's meant to be this sort of loving moment, and that doesn't happen in the Verdi. It doesn't happen in the Mozart.
Right. Verdi and Mozart leave you with Libera Me, free me,
Right.
like save me, right? Salva me, save me, rather than send me to
than that.
paradise.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys really, your music, right? And you did your master's. Oh my God, that's amazing. So when is this?
So this is April 13th at 3 p.m. Yep, right here at Proctor's.
Yeah, and they can get tickets anytime, or?
Get tickets anytime. You can visit the box office at Proctor's or go to sssony.org.
Okay,
And
good.
and you may have mentioned, but this is the season finale for both of our organizations. So this is bound to be a really nice
biggie.
crowd and
Biggie.
and definitely get there early.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Thank you both for being here. and
Thank you. Thank you
for
for having us.
explaining so much to me.
Oh,
I
always a
learn
pleasure.
every
There's
time, every
two-
show I
two
do,
music
I learn
teachers in
something
front
a
of
little
you,
bit
you know,
more.
you're gonna-
And
right.
he's
What
a
are you gonna
wealth of
get?
information.
He is. He is. He is.
Thank you
happy.
both for being here. And
Thank
please
you, Ann.
watch Verity, and please come and see this because we need to support the arts. And part of the arts is also music.
Yeah.
And Kelly, tell us a little bit about the Eddies.
Yep,
You got a
so-
couple of things. You got a gala, and you got the not the gala, the
Hall of Fame
Hall
ceremony.
of Fame. Yeah,
Yep.
and the
Yes.
You got two things coming up.
Two things.
One's on the 24th of March, I think. Yeah.
Yep. So we have the Eddies, the Capital Region, Thomas Edison Music Awards, Hall of Fame, two events with the mission to celebrate and spotlight the incredible talent of the Capital Region music scene. Because and the 518 is just vibrant.
Amazing, yeah.
The-
So the 24th, of course, we've already had that, but
Yep.
now we're going on to the Eddies. So tell us about the Eddies now.
So the Eddies Awards we like to think of it as a mini Grammys. It is a nomination and judging process of hundreds of individuals, from musicians and bands
And
to.
who votes?
We have I like to call them our Eddies people, but it's very open to the music community. All they have to do is reach out to me, tell me a little bit about who they are, and they are grouped into our pool of people who get an email of the voting.
Oh, the
sheets.
voting. Okay,
Yep.
it's sort of like the Academy Awards. That
Yes.
if you're in the gotcha.
Yes, a little bit mirror about the Tonys and the Academy
Sure,
Awards.
okay.
But the night is just a celebration of 34 categories of specific music genres, from folk to electronica, but you also have all of the organizations who present and promote. You have the music journalists, photographers who are there on the scene, and it's just a celebration of everyone who touches even just a smidge of the music industry
Okay,
here.
and when and where?
So it is Sunday, April 27th here at Proctor's. We
Okay.
have a pre-party where it's just a
A
absolute
gala, yeah.
party of all of the nominees, the bands, the presenters, and then the awards start on the main stage.
Is there any performances that night?
There are six powerhouse performances all through the night. I have Camtron 5000, who is kind of newer to the scene, but we had him in the Hall of Fame last year, and he was just a knockout. Margot Macero is a name that a lot of people know now. Wild Adriatic, we're going to get some metal hard rock on that stage finally. Zorbas Trio is a sibling band, so we're excited to get them there.
A sibling band.
A sibling
Oh,
band,
cool,
yeah. Shannon Taya is also kind of new to the scene, so we're excited to get her voice on that stage and really get her into the scene. And then I'm personally really excited about DJ Truemaster and DJ Nate the Great are going to do a duo kind of DJ set together.
How's that gonna go?
I don't know anything about it, but I'm really excited to see it.
Dueling DJs.
A dual set. Dual set.
No,
so
no, I'm
5
just-
minutes.
no,
Yeah.
I'm saying dual.
Well, that's an idea for later.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, what are the once they win? I mean, there's 34 categories.
About 34 categories. And then we have our special merit award. So those individuals, organizations, projects that don't really fit into one of those 34 categories, we honor with a merit award.
Well, tell us what some of those categories are.
So you've got the Jazz Artist of the Year, you've got Blues Artist of the Year, Rock, Pop, Presenter Promoter, which is your Cafe Lena's, your Music Havens.
Organizations,
Yes,
that do that.
yes.
Yeah,
We-
songs, old songs, and things like
Exactly.
that. Yeah.
We have the big ones that are the Music Video of the Year, Album, Record, Songwriter. Those are 8 nominees, but most of the categories are 6 nominees. So it's difficult. You have so much talent in this area. You got to really knock it down.
We talked about that, and most of the shows that we discuss, we talk about how rich our area is in talent, and in music, and in art, and whether it's music or theater or opera or you name it, we are rich in this. And I think I mentioned this before on the show. I had friends that moved to what I would say is a nation's capital, or a capital of a state. Happens to be Nebraska, and they went there, leaving here, and said, "There's nothing there."
We're very lucky.
I mean, there's some, but not what we have here.
Right.
And they were in theater, and they could not break into theater there. They could not. It's like everything's like closed and not open or anything.
I think we forget very quickly too how much is going on here until you kind of dive into. I'm privileged to be a part of this, so I
You're
have my
part of the
hands in a lot-
collaborative, yeah.
and so I'm seeing all of the events. We're seeing that there's something every single day that you could go to that it's almost overwhelming how much
I mean,
is going
theaters,
on.
I believe we're going to be having the Capital Region Festival of Theater on the show, and we've talked about them. And when they, I got one of their T-shirts, and I looked at the back, and I could not believe the number of theaters that supported that
Yeah.
group, just to band together and share whatever the issues are, that they could share them together, you know, and work together to make things happen. It's amazing to me, and I've been doing this show 27 years. I'm my 27th year. I can't tell you how impressed that I am with the number of people that are promoting culture, and I'm using that as a broad term in this area. Yeah.
We're just happy to be a part of it. I'm
Yeah.
excited for your next segment as well to
Yeah.
hear more about, because I know that for the festival, the rep is also a part of that,
Exactly.
which was part of the collaborative and that I help promote. So yeah, it's just
well, you got the
it's
rep,
a
and
great
you've got
scene.
the
Yeah.
upper preservation hall in Saratoga, and they've got a lot of things going on up there.
Yes, almost.
I mean,
every
they're
single
bringing
weekend.
in
Yeah.
some pretty good names into that location.
Yep, it's exciting to get those larger names now. It was a little bit of a struggle after the pandemic. You know,
Well,
we opened right at the
everything
start.
was
Everything closed.
It was even tough for this show here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to see those big names like Chris Bodie was here, Sarah Evans.
Yep.
It's just exciting to
It's
see.
a very exciting, and not only that, but because you're part of the collaborative, you can see how you have different venues that you can kind of use. Like you've even used the Cap Rep
Yeah.
for other things.
Oh, yeah.
You know. So the locations are available. It's just putting them all in the right place. Sometimes.
And
Yeah.
it's kind of forcing / encouraging people to understand, you know, Albany's not too far from Saratoga. They don't have to be these two separate worlds. We're
No,
just
I
gonna,
know. I get so tired of
gonna
this.
push
oh,
you.
oh, we don't cross the river. We don't cross the bridge. It's like,
Yep.
what? You know?
Yeah.
We are a community, and whether you're Saratoga or you're Troy or Cohoes or you're Albany or Schenectady, Scotia, I mean, this is all, you know, Rotterdam, and wherever you are, Schuylerville, this is like, we're a community.
Yeah. And you're going to miss out otherwise. You're going to miss out on some great talent, some great shows, and just networking in the community. It's the scene. It is.
Exactly, and I really like what you're doing with the Eddies, and I do want to give a shout out for Proctor's for bringing in such great. The Broadway Bash was amazing with what was coming up there as well. It's like, I am so glad I live here. That's all I can say. I'm so glad I live here.
Yep.
So tell us one more time, can people come, anybody can come to the,
Anybody can come.
Come to
It
the
is
Eddies.
open to the nominees, the bands, the friends, the fans. It's open to every single person. Tickets are available at proctors.org or the eddiesawards.com. It is again April 27th. It's a Sunday here at Proctor's.
okay, good. And you expect a good crowd?
Yes.
Good.
Better
I hope
be.
you do get it. I hope you get a nice big crowd coming to that.
Thank you.
Because we need to support these people that are. You know, just because you're a musician, you think, okay, well they do that. That's kind of like cute of them to do that. But no, this is their livelihood.
Oh yeah. They
And
take
we
this
need
as
to support it.
validation,
We
as
need to support it.
celebration.
Yeah, we need to support it. Kelly, thank you so much for
you,
what
Lynn.
you do at Proctor's and what you do for the music community. And I know that this is your baby, so you really care about it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and remember the 27th to check out the Eddies. That's going to be really cool. Okay. Oh my gosh, look who's here.
Look who's here.
We were just talking about you.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know.
that was great.
Thanks.
Great
Yeah, I know
segue.
you're wearing your shirt. I didn't wear mine, but I do have my shirt, and I did wear it. What was it? Something came up, and I said, oh, I was wearing it that day. But this is, you got a big thing coming up here. Not,
do
this
have
is-
a big
We're
thing
not
coming up.
talking about Shakespeare, but we're going to talk about Shakespeare now, right?
Well, we probably need to talk about that a little bit too, because the Shakespeare's birthday is a fundraiser for the Capital Region Festival of Theater that's happening June 12th through 15th. But this Shakespeare's birthday, it's his 461st birthday.
He didn't even look it though.
No, he looks good.
He looks good.
Yeah.
The beard looks very good.
And that is a fundraiser to help.
Tell me how you're celebrating his birthday, Chris.
So,
Come on.
we are having an evening. It starts at 6:30. It's at the Albany Barn. The first hour is going to be the party part of it, and then at 7:30 we'll start some performances and should go for about an hour 15, maybe an hour and a half at the most.
Performances of Shakespeare.
So Shakespeare monologues, scenes. We're looking to do some music as well.
Shakespeare had music in some of his stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
People don't know that. but they-
Shakespeare inspired as well. I think that's
Correct.
And
That's
Jillian
where-
is here with us too. Yes. And what is your? I didn't get a title for you, so I don't know what your.
Oh, that's okay.
What your position is in the
I'm
in
the
the realm of things.
vice president on the board. Very
Okay,
honored to be so, and also helping with the Shakespeare Birthday Bash.
Good. Okay, so Shakespeare had some music.
Yes, and Shakespeare inspired so many different pieces, and also funny musical pieces. Something Rotten, for example, or Kiss Me Kate.
Oh, yeah.
There's some very funny. I think sometimes people hear like, "Oh, it's Shakespeare's Birthday Bash." Well, what are you going to do? We're going to do Shakespeare. No, we're going to do Shakespeare. Like, it's amazing.
Shakespeare or Shakespeare adjacent,
Right.
like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Yes, exactly.
You know.
Yeah, and when you mentioned Kiss Me Kate, that's to me is the Taming of the Shrew, and it's a story, story within a story. If you have never done Shakespeare, you need to watch that to kind of get their feet wet with Shakespeare, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But there's so much, and the other movie that I think is celebrated Shakespeare is To Be or Not to Be with Jack Benny when he did that
Sure.
film, which was all about Shakespeare as well. So yeah.
Well, and my background comes a little bit more from children's theater, and I always talk to my students about The Lion King and how it's inspired by
yeah.
Hamlet,
Yeah.
and their faces are like, what?
No, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So, and we're going
it
to.
just doesn't take place in Denmark. That's the only.
No, no, definitely not.
No, but we'll be covering. There's some of the performances will be from the comedies. We've got the tragedies, and we've also got a few of the histories in there as well.
Well, I saw the one show, and you'll have to forgive me for the title. It was like Fractured Shakespeare, where they do the two guys do the thing where they're doing parts of Shakespeare, but it's.
Oh, Shakespeare Abridged.
Yeah, Bridge. Yeah, and to me, that's one of the most hysterical things I've ever seen. But they are true to Shakespeare.
Yeah.
So, okay. So how do they get tickets?
So from the Capital Region Festival of Theater website, the email for that is www.crftinc.org. So
I remember that, 'cause
CRFT.
and I think we put that up on the screen, too,
inc.org.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so you're nonprofit now.
We are not for profit. Yep.
So while I have the vice president and the secretary here, how did this come about?
So about a little over a year now, it was in January, we gathered as many of the theater companies in the area that
there's
we
a
could.
lot.
And there are a lot. Did you know that there is probably 47 community theaters, there's 16 professional theaters, there's 8 colleges, there's 22 high schools that all have theater groups.
Yeah.
And
Not counting the Equity Theater over in, there's another
Right.
one. Yeah.
yeah, so we gathered as many people as we could to say,
Let's get together.
could we have a celebration of the many theaters that are in this area? And the response was, quite positive.
let's
and
do
so,
it.
yeah, let's do it. But it, it takes, here we are a year
The
later. So,
idea is
it's like,
gotta go to
so
here.
we had to, put together the not-for-profit status of it and have that approved, and then there was all this planning, and that has all been coming along, and we had to, this festival is going to take place at 6 different venues, the festival part of it, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 6 different venues.
This one?
Yep, And all that stuff is going to be on the website
Yeah,
too, because
this-
right now we're still
4 days, 7 venues, region-wide celebration of all things theatrical in Albany and its surrounding cities, towns, and hamlets. No, that's the other one. That Capital Region is a great place to love theater, and
Yep.
isn't that true?
And each one of those venues, so like on Friday morning, it is towards seniors is the theme. So there's a senior matinee players group. There's a senior singing group. So that Friday morning is seniors. Friday afternoon is youth groups that do theater in the area, and that's at Russell Sage.
You're planning all this? Oh my God.
Yeah, and then Saturday morning is up at Fort Salem, and there's
good.
a lot of events, some musical stuff going on there. Saturday
spreading it around.
Yeah, Saturday
Yes.
afternoon is at Schenectady Light Opera. That is mostly going to be musical, but there's going to be round tables, workshops, all kinds of things there. Saturday night is at the Rep. Those are going to be, I think, mostly like one-act scenes, that kind of thing. And then Sunday, everything culminates on Sunday at the UAlbany Campus Center, where there's going to be
I can't believe what
performances,
you've done.
workshops, round tables, vendor tables.
One Act Festival.
Yeah.
I'm just overwhelmed. I
Yes,
mean, I'm
so am I.
overwhelmed.
Yeah, so are we.
when I'm hearing what you're saying. I mean, I knew that you had a mission. I never knew that you were going to be able to pull off something. Excuse me.
No.
To pull
We
this
didn't either.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
It's really amazing. You were talking with your previous guest about the wealth of artists in this area, and it's mind-blowing. The amount of people that have come together, to celebrate and put this all together, and I am so excited about it.
Yeah, our keynote speaker is a well-known playwright, Shar White, who he will be participating. And then for the fundraiser on Thursday, which is a mixer, we have Jay McBride and Aaron Harks will be hosting that. We got a lot of great stuff that's going to be
I'm just
part
like,
of this.
I'm listening to this, and it's like, you must be drawing people from New York City and Montreal and all over.
Well, that's what we're
That's what we're hoping.
that's what we're hoping. I mean, we
because
we want to share.
it's really. I mean, I can't imagine people from Utica not being interested in this as well.
Right,
you
we
know?
want to be a destination for
Theater.
theater, and the festival is going to do that. Someone said that Capital Region Theater is like a hidden gem, and the thing is, we know about it, but we want to share it with everyone.
Yeah, we want to make it as popular as like high school football is around
Yeah,
here. You know what I
right.
mean?
Okay.
So-
Well, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like I said, when Patrick and you kind of came up with this idea, it's like, I go, well, that's a really nice idea. And I'm thinking, oh, they'll show costumes and they'll do, because I'm thinking minimalist, rather than the grand theme of this is amazing. And I applaud you. I really do applaud you for what you've done. And I know it has not been easy, because I know that Patrick and Chris attend about 300
I don't know how
things
they
a
do
year,
it.
so I don't know how you squeeze this in the middle of all this. So
Yeah. That's what we're doing when we're not going to see shows.
yeah, I know. But what you're doing when you go see shows is not just for entertainment. I'm sure it is
No, we are
entertainment.
supporting the community.
You're not only supporting it, but you're now, learning more, and you're seeing talent, and there's so many things that
Absolutely.
you're getting out of that, rather than just being a passive participant in the audience.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. I love theater. I mean, you guys know that.
We know that.
I've always loved theater. And I do have my T-shirt, and I do wear it with pride.
Great.
Good, thank you.
And I show people, and they go, "What is that? What is the star in the center?" I said, "Well, all these people are stars." So
I like that. We're going to steal that.
Yes.
you can steal it. It's yours. Please say hi to Patrick.
I will.
And please let's encourage people to come to the fundraiser, because
Yep.
you're going to need some money for some
Right.
of this.
Wednesday, April 23rd,
Okay. And it's
Albany
at the
Barn.
Albany Barn. Yeah.
56 2nd Street
Yep.
in Albany.
And it is street parking.
Yes.
No, it's not hard. I never had trouble finding a parking place. So
No, you
yeah.
should be fine.
So you're
Come
excited to be
celebrate
part of
the
this
Bard.
too, Jillian, huh?
Yes, I am thrilled. I've been teaching theater for the last 13 years.
Oh, really?
So this is kind of my reintroduction back into the community theater. I grew up around here, you know. So this is especially meaningful for me to get welcomed back into the community, and that just shows you, you know, that it is community. That we are a family, and we want to encourage our family, but we also want to bring more people into our family.
And we can do that. We can do that by spreading the word and telling people about CRFT, or the Capital Region Festival of Theater. May I ask you one more question? So this is not just a flash in the pan, is it? You're going to do this every year?
That's what we're shooting for, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We just, and we're kind of,
I
it's
mean,
a
you've
big
got,
learn-
you've
it's a
got
big-
the
it's-
nonprofit. You might as well keep
It's
going.
true. It's a big
Right.
learning curve for you know. We're learning how to do it this year, but we're already talking about next year. So, you know, I think
Don't give up on the dream.
Right.
You know, just keep it going.
Never.
Yeah, because I think what you're doing is wonderful for the community. Because not only that, you're bringing all the theater groups together, and they can share their issues, their problems, their dreams, their whatever it takes, or venues, or where are you performing next, and you know, is that available, and that kind
Well,
of
right. At these vendor tables, people can have their seasons. They can talk about that to anybody who's interested. And some of these roundtables and workshops, they're going to talk about censorship or the diversity thing. You know.
Well, the important things.
Yeah,
but
right.
that's what theater has always been.
Correct.
Always been ahead of everything. And even if it offends you, it's too bad, as far as I'm concerned. You know, just
Equal opportunity. offenders.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. We were talking about they're doing Casa Valienta, and of course that has the drag, you know, in it, which is wonderful. And we were talking about that. You know, that at one time they. You know, that was like, you can't talk about that. Now, you know, we do talk about it, and, you know, bravo.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you both for
Thank
being
you
here.
Thank
so
and
much,
I hope
Ann.
that you have a
much.
wonderful party. I'm going to try and get there if I can.
That'd be
Good,
great.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you, Jillian, and thank you so much, Chris. We'll
Thanks.
see you.
Thank you.
We're going to be talking now to an author. Hey, Paula. I think Paula's she's a beauty queen and everything. You've done it all, my God. And your daughter, I can't believe she's in wrestling.
Yes, she is.
Amazing.
She's our state champion, one of our state champions.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes. And I want to say I'm so excited, and thank you so much for having me again. I've been in this area, in the Capital Region, for 22 years, and every time I've accomplished something, you have been so supportive, and happy birthday to you today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, another birthday under my belt, you know, another orbit around the whatever. But anyway, you've written a book, and you've got a character in it that's dealing with issues.
Yes, I do. Here's the book.
Yes.
It is so exciting. It's called They Even Took My Shoes. I love shoes.
Well, it's interesting. You know,
I know.
It's funny because I had a guest on the show, and they had it was Casa Valentino, and they handed me this, and I said, "Oh, I have to wear it when I have Paula on because it's got a shoe on it, and it's a red shoe."
It's
and you
perfect.
Got the red
It's
shoe.
perfect. And just because it has a shoe, I want men to understand this book is also for them and young adults, because we all talk about perfection. And I think people grow up thinking, I grew up playing with Barbie dolls, and I thought life is perfect. It's supposed to be like a Barbie doll. And I think,
We didn't know any better.
right, we didn't know any better. And people today are afraid to talk about struggles. And I think this is why there are so many people struggling with mental health, because some people don't know how to get the tools or are embarrassed to talk about it. And a lot of people commit suicide because they don't know.
Suicide is,
yes.
yeah, there's no. What does they say? It's a permanent solution for a temporary
Right, and
problem.
it's really not. And based on my career experience with interviewing so many
'cause she's
amazing
had her own TV
people.
show too. Yeah.
I've interviewed so many amazing people. I've changed careers, and I decided, you know what? I want to create and write a book that is going to be a tool for people that go through any type of struggle. And the book, I created Maria Crow. Maria Crow can be you, can be anyone. Maria Crow is a person who went through so many struggles, and every time this woman got up and thought, it's, you know, this is it, she got knocked down again and again and again. But she found through resilience, persistency, faith, prayer, manifestation, she found that inner strength within her that we all have when we're kids. But then as we grow up and become
taken
adults,
away, yeah.
right, we kind of forget about it.
Yeah.
But we all have that. And this is what I want people to get out of this book. This book can be whatever you want. That no matter what your situation is, you can find that light at the end of the tunnel. There are, and I love to read. I read so many books, and there's this one that really stands out, Maria Forleo, Everything is Figure-Outable. Everything is figure-outable, okay? There are so many people, you've interviewed so many amazing people here today, and it's, there's people everywhere, there's nonprofits, there's organizations, there's always a solution. So that's my mission, and that's why I created this book, and it has tools in here. And sometimes like little tools like keeping a journal, you know, sometimes you hear because of social media, people go on and think, oh, this person has a perfect life. They're lucky.
Oh, and
they have it all and I don't.
Yeah, but the thing is that that's pretty much false.
It is.
I mean, I know people that are on social media, and so you see, oh, we had this for dinner, and we had this, and we were, there was a cocktail glass, and then this and that, and I know that they got issues in their lives.
And you have no idea what they went through before they posted that.
But I already know that, but the person looking at that thinks, oh, I wish I had a life like that.
Right.
You know, you have no idea what those people are going through.
Right. And it's through the struggle that you learn and that you mature. And that's what I would like people to understand, that it's okay to talk about your struggle. It's okay to reach out to people. Don't feel embarrassed. Like, it's okay, because you know what? Together, little things like a journal, for example, like thanking, oh, I don't have anything to thank, you know, myself for. Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You can thank your shoes.
Yeah.
I'm wearing shoes, you know, like I'm not walking barefoot.
Exactly.
I got food today. Thank you for the clothes that I'm wearing. I mean, little things like that, that if you do that and you find 5 things to thank every morning and before you go to bed, it's going to change the way you think and your outlook. And I believe we're all energy. We're body, mind, and soul, right? So we're energy. The universe is always spinning. Whatever you were putting out there is whatever is going to come back.
Exactly.
So think positive. Think that everything is going to be okay. That light, it might seem like so far, but it's gonna,
You know,
it's there.
I love what you're saying, Paul, and I'm going to just say this. So I have people that, well, just yesterday I talked to somebody. Everything was negative. The weather, the this. And every time I tried to say to this person, oh, but the weather was great today. And he would say, no, I'm talking about last month. It was really awful. It's like, no matter what I did to turn that around, to make it, well, but look at what you got. You know, something, it always went back to that. And I thought, what an awful way to live.
It is. And it takes work. I mean, it takes work, and it's funny that so many people that I talk to, whether it's relationships, finances, right? Oh, I can't find a perfect partner. Well, what do you want? I don't know. Well,
Yeah,
if
I
you
don't
don't
know
know,
what I
how is
want.
the
How
universe
you
going to
gonna
know
find
what to
them?
bring
Yeah,
back?
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like
exactly.
finances. Oh, I don't have this. Well, you're putting it out to the universe already. How about I'm thankful for what I have?
Take little steps.
Right.
Take
I have a
little
bill.
step.
I'm so happy I have money to pay this bill.
Yeah.
More is going to come.
I
if
mean,
you
there's other
change.
bills, but this one I was
Right.
able to get done.
Yes.
And it's the idea of doing, and I mean, this is like old school, the positive affirmations
Right.
that you got to say positive things. Oh, look, it's a beautiful day today, and look, I have enough cat food for my cat. You know, I mean, I
Right,
don't know,
right,
just
right.
make it up. But the point is that you've got to look at the positive things in your life. If you're always looking at the negative, your whole life will
It's
be
going to
negative.
be like that. And that's the key. It's, you have to, and some people say, oh, positive psychology, that's garbage. That doesn't
No,
work.
it isn't.
It's finding through your struggle and through your bad situations, what is the lesson that I can get out of it? And then process it, learn from it, but move on.
Yeah.
Because the door, if one door closes, there's going to be a better one out there. And that's what
You hope.
Yes.
And there probably
and,
is. Yeah,
and
there
that's
probably
what people have to like, it's like train your brain to think like that. Because if you're always going to be saying, oh yeah, last month it was bad weather, well, you're never going to be happy.
You're
And
never going to be happy.
no.
Yeah, I mean, but it's interesting when I talk to people, and there's another person I ran into, and it's like everything. Oh, I can't do this. I can't. And the words are can't and don't, can't and don't, can't and don't.
Right.
And it's like, no.
Right. Right.
Turn that around.
Turn it around. And the book that I wrote, Maria,
it's a
Maria
novel.
Crow,
It's a novel.
it's a fictional story, and you're going to see all the steps that this Maria Crow went through and how she overcame it. So
And that probably comes from all the interviews you
interviews,
have done
everything,
for,
yes,
over the years.
yes,
Yeah.
everything. Because Maria, like I said before, she can be anyone. She can be anyone, and I'm so thankful because I'm almost a bestseller. And the reviews that have been pouring in of people saying they couldn't put it down because they wanted to get to the end and they wanted to see, and they go, wow, this person, resilience, persistency, like, and I say, you have that too.
Yeah, everybody has
And they say, I could relate to this person. And I'm getting like messages at 2:30 in the morning. I just couldn't put it down. So I'm so.
And you got a couple of book signings coming up. So
I
let's
do,
talk
I
about
do,
that.
yes,
Yeah, so
I
you
do.
can meet her in person.
I do. I have.
Meet this positive person in person.
Mocha Lisa's is going to be the first one. Mocha Lisa's in Clifton Park,
Yeah.
March 22nd. And then I have Northshire Bookstore in Saratoga, June 22nd. And then the Stuyvesant Plaza in Albany, that will be in May 17th.
Got to
So-
do the open door bookstore here.
Yes, and I'm
Yeah.
having a ribbon cutting also coming up on the 21st. So it's all exciting. And people can go to paulafidalgo.com. I have a link on there directly to Amazon. It's on Amazon. It's on Barnes & Noble,
How
Ingram
exciting.
Spark. It's so exciting.
I've known her for so long, and it's like I'm just so excited to see what you've been capable of doing, and talk about persistence. This lady is a persistent woman. Has 3 beautiful daughters, right? Yeah.
Two daughters and a son.
And a son. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I forgot. I'm sorry. Well, it's been a long time. Haven't seen her lately, but you've done so much, and I know that you've won contests and stuff. I mean, it's like.
But I tell people it's not about like the crown when I won that. It's not about that. It's about your heart.
Exactly.
If your heart is in the right place and you're thinking
Everything
about
follows.
helping others, it's all going to come back to you.
Yeah,
And if
yeah.
everyone thinks about that, the world would be a better,
Yeah.
a better place.
Well, and I think that you're an inspiration, Paula. I mean, because you've done a lot of, encouraging programs, that you've done, and you've tried to always think about education and spirituality and all of the things that go with that. And I think it's kind of emulates itself in what you have become over the years.
Thank you.
I've watched you. And now this book. This is your first book.
This
of
is
many,
my
maybe,
first book.
of many.
Yes.
How long did it take you to write it?
5 years. It took 5 years, and I almost quit towards the end, but it's about the
You
journey.
didn't know the ending?
It's about no, it's not that. It's, afraid of, oh my God, there's writers out there who've written so many books. Are they going to criticize? Like, is the punctuation perfect? The sentence, the
Well,
paragraph?
don't they have editors that
Yes,
kind of
and
do
I
the
did
very end?
have,
Yeah.
Christina Beauchemin, she wrote a book also, Let My Legacy Be Love. Amazing person. I've met, like my publishers, Dan and Christine, I said to her, I want my cover to be elegant, unique, and powerful.
And
I
it
mean,
is.
she nailed it. She nailed it.
Yeah.
The publisher, Dan, I work with him. These are amazing people that I couldn't have done this by myself. And they
Well, we
say,
can't-
no,
we
you
can't-
would.
we
No.
need everybody
Yes,
in
and
our
faith
lives.
is amazing. You don't ever lose whatever you believe in. Don't lose your faith because it's powerful.
Yeah, well, you surely show it.
Thank you.
Yeah, Paula. Yeah, good. We've been talking with Paula Fidalgo, and she's written a book. They even took my shoes. It's interesting because I promoted it, and somebody from South Carolina says, "Oh, that looks like a really interesting book. I'll have to get it."
Yay! Please do get it.
Who knew, right? I'm going, whoa! I didn't realize they said, "Oh, legal system," and they're starting. I haven't even read this. What are you talking about?
It basically covers a lot. It's not just one particular area. It covers a lot.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for being here, Paula.
you for
and
having
come
me.
again,
Thank
again. When you've written your next one. No, anytime. Come back anytime. I'm Ann Perillo. You're watching Capital Region Today. Hope you have a great week. And oh my goodness, the weather's going to be great. And the weather is going to be great. I'm very positive about that. And so is life. So just enjoy. I'm Ann Perillo, your host for Capital Region Today.